All right, so this is the first video of the mobility series that we're going to do. As I said in the introduction, we're going to start off with lower back pain because in my experience of coaching, while every single person I've ever worked with, including myself, has some sort of ailment, lower back pain is definitely towards the top of the list. Both anatomically and physiologically, the spine is central to our bodies and to our movement. One thing I've come to realize in my own practice is if there's dysfunction in the spine, there will be dysfunction in the rest of your movement capabilities. And this is evidenced by if you've ever tweaked your back, which I have a few times now, you think about what that does to the rest of your ability to move. For me, when I tweaked my back, that meant no bending over, squatting down was not an option, even reaching overhead was tough and gave you like that breathless feeling. And so if that's true, then the opposite must be true. The better your spine moves, the better your movement capabilities will be. Like every other mobility tool, there are lots of things you can do. And today we're just going to go over two of the most common techniques that we teach. And they're actually cat-cow variations. Now, I will be honest with you, I overlooked the cat-cow for a long time. Oh, I'm not a yoga practitioner, I don't need the cat-cow. I was very wrong about that. The cat-cow is awesome. We use it as both an assessment tool and as a treatment option. So we're going to do the regular cat-cow and just explore general range of motion and movement capabilities. Then we're going to do a segmented cat-cow where we assess the ability to control your spine. All right. So to put basically, it's important that we have general flexion and extension in the spine. A healthy spine should be able to flex, which is curl in, extend, rotate, and lateral flexion. Okay, should be able to do all those things. The cat-cow specifically works on flexion and extension. So it's important to know that this is not an exhaustive list of things to do for your spine. This is just a good starting point and good foundational things to do. All right. The other thing is in terms of the segmented cat-cow and your ability to control your spine. The reason why that's important, let's say, for example, you want to have better posture, right? And you stretch your shoulders all the time. Well, no amount of shoulder stretching will really ever help until your thoracic spine being basically from your collarbone to your belly button, can extend well. If you are asking your thoracic spine to extend and it can't, what's going to happen is your lower back is going to want to compensate. And so what we found is a lot of times lower back pain can be traced back to lack of thoracic spine mobility. So enough talking, let's move. First thing we're going to do is the cat-cow. So we're going to start off on all fours. Okay, so we set up with the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the wrists. So we're kind of drawing this little invisible box here. Okay. Now remember, your spine goes all the way from your skull to your tailbone, so we're trying to move all of that. To go into flexion, we squeeze the butt, think about tucking the tail, push the back towards the ceiling, and tuck the chin to the chest. So in this position, on the front side of your torso, you should feel a lot of contraction, a lot of abs, some chest muscles squeezing. On the back, you should feel those muscles stretching out, okay? So we hold that position, honestly, whatever feels good. 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, doesn't really matter. And then we're going to do the opposite, go into extension. And now the opposite things are happening. All the muscles down your back are now contracting. The muscles down the front of your torso are stretching out, okay? So the full cat-cow looks something like this. Flexion, extension. Okay, we say to do about 10 of those or so, about anywhere from 3 to 5 sets. The cool thing about spinal work is unless you do something really wonky, you can't really overdo it. And in fact, the more you move it, the better it'll feel. So that is the cat-cow. Okay, next we're going to go into the segmented cat-cow. Now, as I said before, the regular cat-cow, or cat-camel sometimes it's called, just assesses kind of general movement capabilities in the spine. The segmented cat-cow assesses, can you control each segment? This is much harder than it looks. When I first started doing this, it was very humbling. I went into it with quite the ego, like, oh, I can do this, and I could not. it will expose where you are tight as well and where you lack strength and control, okay? The end goal, we have 24 vertebrae in the spine. The end goal is to be able to move one vertebrae at a time. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I can't do that, don't feel bad, neither can I, and I've never met anybody that can. In reality, we move like we have one or two segments, and that's why a lot of times bulging discs, herniated discs, general back pain comes from. It's because the whole spine has to work together as a team. But if 22 out of the 24 vertebrae are on vacation, you can imagine how that'll cause some problems, okay? So, the segmented cat-cow, we're gonna go into that same flexed position. Okay? So we get into that flexion position. Now this time, we're just trying to move the hips. So we start to rotate the hips into extension. Then we move the middle of the back. So we push the belly toward the ground, but notice how I'm keeping my upper back rounded still. I'm not moving that area yet. As I feel it travel up my back, the contractions, I feel it go up to my shoulder blades, but I'm still keeping my neck tucked. Then finally, I roll the neck up. Okay, now we're going to reverse it. We start an extension. We start with the neck, then we go to the shoulders, then the chest, then the belly, and then finally the hips. And then we just keep going back and forth. This will feel clunky at first. It'll feel hard at first. Over time, you'll be able to do it a lot more fluidly, okay? One important note, when you're doing the segmented cat-cow compared to the regular one, with the regular one, you're getting a lot more range of motion. With the segmented, because you are only moving one section and trying to not move others, you're not going to get as much range of motion out of that. So you're going to have to settle for less range of motion, so you're not cheating the movement. Again, like the regular cat-cow, you can't really overdo it. We usually prescribe, about 5 repetitions each way, anywhere from 1 to 5 sets. So that is a starting point when it comes to spinal mobility. Remember, motion is lotion, you guys. So the more you can do this, the better your spine will feel, okay? A lot of times we say Monday may be chest day, but every day is spine day. And the reality is, if you want something to hurt less, it has to be able to move better. You are not going to solve it with ice packs and heating pads and ibuprofen and chiropractor and acupuncture. You have to teach your brain how to use those muscles more effectively. That's from personal experience. I used to struggle with a lot of lower back pain, and while it still gets tight occasionally, it is way better because I do this stuff daily and other stuff too. So stay tuned, start with the basics, practice this stuff every day, and stay tuned for the next episode.